We begin with Bill Cosby, who is back in the news once again as he faces another lawsuit, this time from 9 women who accuse him of sexual assault and misconduct in a Nevada courtroom. So Bill Cosby's troubles not yet over for the Quaaludes and the mistreatments of the women. 9 additional women would like their day in court, and that seems to be happening. So let's learn a little bit more about this. Bill Cosby is facing a new lawsuit brought by 9 women who alleged that he abused them in a improper way. The lawsuit filed Wednesday in the United States District Court for the District of Nevada Federal Court alleges that the former star engaged in serial assault of dozens of women for his gratification by drugging women and using unknown substances to incapacitate them. Probably Quaaludes, because that seems to have been his thing based on the relevant knowledge that we have. The assaults apparently took place in Nevada between 1979 and 1992. So they took place some time ago, more than 30 years ago, and some further back than that. Several of the incidents took place apparently in the 85-year-old comedian's Las Vegas hotel suite. The lawsuit was filed in Nevada last month after Nevada passed a law that lifted the statute of limitations in civil cases relating to abuse. So this is something that has been done by multiple jurisdictions, partly in response to multiple abuse scandals. For example, the Catholic Church scandals got a lot of statute of limitations raised, and this also similarly raised as well. So some of this stuff had been barred by the statute of limitations, but not so much anymore. Nevada has lifted the statute of limitations so the lawsuit can proceed. Cosby, the court filing says, used his enormous power, fame, and prestige and claimed interest in helping them and their careers as a pretense to isolate them, which, I mean, somewhat is to be understood. I mean, I assume that's a fairly common pretense used in this kind of industry. It's like, yeah, I can help you with your career if you sleep with me. So I'm not sure the degree to which that is a problem legally. I say that because, it's part of the things that people tell each other when they are trying to seduce one another. They tend to say all kinds of things. And the saying all kinds of things is not normally a basis for the problem. But if they're drugging them, if they're taking away their consent by medication or other substances, that is a problem, right? So, yeah, you can't do that. So, can you lie to them? A little bit. Can you drug them? Probably not so much. No. Cosby had been sentenced, of course, to prison, but was released by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court because the district attorney in Pennsylvania completely violated Cosby's legal rights. Right? The law is supposed to protect everyone, including Cosby. And the Constitution says, you can't be forced to incriminate himself. Cosby made very many incriminating statements against himself, but he did it after the district attorney gave him assurances that it wouldn't be used against him. And so you can't do that. You can't induce someone to violate their constitutional rights like that and then use it against them. So it's like, yeah, no, you can't do that. That's a Fifth Amendment violation. He had a right to remain silent, and you said immunity. So the immunity would nullify the Fifth Amendment concern because you're not in jeopardy. So if the district attorney gives you immunity, then you're no longer in jeopardy. So there's no longer a Fifth Amendment. So he would have the requirement to speak. But now you're saying he doesn't have immunity. You can't do that. So yeah, no, not so much. More than 60 women have accused Cosby of the misconduct over the years. Cosby, of course, has denied it all, but there does seem to be some suggestion that not all is right in the state of Denmark. A representative for Cosby could not be reached. The performancer's spokeswoman criticized so-called look-back laws in Wednesday by saying that Cosby is a citizen of the United States. He surely is. But these judges and lawmakers are consistently allowing these civil suits to flood their dockets, knowing these women are not fighting for victims, but for their addiction to massive amounts of media attention and greed. Wow. Public affairs over here has an interesting way of going about this. That's one interesting way of doing it. They're not doing it to fight for their rights as victims, but rather for the media attention and for greed. I don't know about that one. Okay, but it's one way to try to deal with the PR problem, I guess. Not sure it's an effective one, but all right. Last year, Cosby himself hinted at a possible return to comedy. That would be hilarious on a number of levels. If Cosby gets back into comedy, that would be an interesting thing to see. When I came out of this, I feel I'll be able to perform and be the Bill Cosby that my audience knows me to be, he said in a radio interview. I mean, he was certainly a very good comedian. Whatever else can be said about him. So I'm not sure what kind of an audience he has left, but presumably some people out there are real die-hard Cosby fans. So maybe he can make a crack at it. I'm not sure which venues will host him, but maybe he'll show up at an open mic night somewhere. That would be interesting to be sure. Thus, that brings us to the end of the story of Bill Cosby, who is once again being sued for his predilections when it comes to the women. He's been accused by many women of doing many things, often with drugs, usually quaaludes, it seems, and drugging them and reducing their ability to consent and sexually assaulting them. And these 9 women are now able to sue because Nevada, like many other states, has extended its statute of limitations on these civil lawsuits because it's like, these people didn't get justice. Let's get them justice now. So, yeah, this stuff happened 30 to 50 years ago, but, oh well, there's 9 of them who can testify about what happened to them. And so we'll bring this all to bear once again. And that, for the moment, brings us to the end of discussion of this story.